doing, everybody? Groovy Grass here. Today we're going to be talking about doom metal guitar tone. Specifically doom metal guitar tone on a budget. A minimal budget. Oh boy, I do mean minimal. Like under $1,000 for the most expensive possible rig we'll be talking about today. Ideally, anyway, we're going to be going over sort of three budget spectrums. A basically free bedroom rig, a slightly bigger bedroom, combo amp rig, and a budget rig you can play live with. I'm making some assumptions going into this. Namely, I'm assuming you have a guitar. And if you don't have a guitar, well, it doesn't matter what guitar you choose. Truth be told, you can play any genre of music on any kind of guitar. Do not let anybody tell you different. It does not matter. It might sound slightly different in the room, but even then, that's because of the pickups, right? So you take the pickups out of that Les Paul and you put it in a Strat and you play it through the same amp, it's gonna sound the fucking same, alright? Like, just sorry, Charlie, if you believe otherwise. So this video is mainly gonna focus on amps and pedals, because that's more important than the shape of the guitar you play. I'm also assuming you're a beginner if you're looking up a video on how to get a specific sort of guitar tone, or you're at least an outsider to the genre. In case you don't have a guitar, or a guitar you want to play stoner, doom, whatever on, and you feel like you need to get a new one, here are some suggestions.
If you're not in the US, a Harley Benton would do you very well. Pick your poison. Les Paul, SG, Jazzmaster, Strat, Telecaster, V, Warlock, whatever. They have whatever shape you're looking for. Even those obscure little 60s shapes that your special snowflake ass loves so much.
An old Epiphone SG G400 will do you more than well. They don't make them anymore. Online, they can be found for about $350 to $550, depending on condition, where it's made, as if that matters, and if it's a special edition or not. And overall, they're just fantastic guitars. I've had this one for a while. It was my first really good real guitar, and it had a Ned stock. Excuse me. It had a neck and a headstock break yet. SG moment, I know. Get it out of your system. Which I repaired extraordinarily crudely, but it works, and surprisingly, the intonation is still fine, which is amazing, I know. I've put P90s in it, and overall it's just a phenomenal doom machine. You can do very well with a good SG G400, especially because in local music shops, they tend to be cheaper, about $250 to $400. Moving on. More or less any Epiphone Les Paul, new or used, will do you just fine. I've had this one for a while. This is a custom, so they're a little up there in price as far as Epiphones go. I think this was like $600 when I got it new, and that's overpriced as far as I'm concerned. Keep in mind, SGs and Les Pauls, those are just my preferences, my suggestions, because I personally prefer how these guitars play. Play a Strat, play a Harley Benton, play a Cozart, alright? Anything but an Esteban, essentially. Anything but an Esteban. Let's move on to the meat and potatoes of this video, because it really doesn't matter. Just get something with strings and pickups. Moving on. So just to reiterate one last time before we move on, you can use any guitar you want. It doesn't fucking matter. Cool.
First off, we've got the basically free setup. I'm making an assumption here. I'm assuming you have a computer. If you don't have a computer, I can't help you. I would suggest you get one. Smartphones suck. Now, assuming you have a computer, the first thing you're going to want to get is an audio interface. You might already have one, but just in case you don't, Behringer Euphoria 1 channels can be found for like $30 to $40 new, and there's always the used market. Check Facebook Marketplace especially. You can find interfaces cheap. Just make sure it has 1/4-inch plugs. Guitar plug, as you might think of it. An IR, or impulse response, is essentially a virtual speaker. It mimics the aural response of a speaker in a guitar cabinet. They're not always necessary, but a lot of the time you'll find that amp sims tend to sound a bit uncanny, so the IRs just sort of add a more realistic flavor to it. NAD IR is also made by Ignite, and it's actually paired with the Emissary amp. If you want more information on the Ignite stuff, go see Glenn Fricker over at Spectre Sound Studios. He has some great videos on them. They're a little older. He might have newer ones. I'm not sure, but that's where I heard about him. Fuck you, Glenn. Personally, though, I would just go with Neural Amp Simulator. It's quick and dirty and easy, and you have a lot more options than just the sort of chuggy sound to play with. If you'd like a suggestion for a paid amp sim, I would recommend the Death Western by Purified Audio. It runs you about $40 and it's worth every penny. It's got very good, great, usable stoner, desert doom, whatever tones out of the box, and a built-in IR. So you don't need to get another thing, you can just use that. Or you could just disable it and do something different. Very versatile, very good. Not sponsored. As for guitar effects, there are no shortage of good, great, fantastic VST effects on the internet that are free. Like, not paid, just free. Like, you can go and grab them from VST for free and use them. They're fantastic. One I really like, it's a fuzz, it's called the Fuzzploid. Another one is the Face Bender. That actually comes with two fuzzes, a Maserite fuzz and something else, I forget what. And Lawnmower, if you're into really sort of almost black metal style fuzz. I'll link all of them and a few more below. Really, there's with Neural Amp Sim or any sort of amp sim and impulse response loader and VSTs, you can have any tone in the world at your fingertips. Not just doom metal, classic rock, death metal, black metal, whatever the hell Styx was. Everything like that. Ween tone. Ween tone. But, like, seriously, it's insane. You have so many options. It's just beautiful, really. You can do whatever you want. A benefit of a digital audio workstation-based setup is that you can just record whenever you want. Seriously, just lay down the fucking evil weed wizard riffs and, put a drum track under it, and you're good to go. It's absolutely fantastic. Really, the barrier of entry has never been lower. It's in hell's basement. And of course, there's nothing stopping you from hooking your guitar pedals up to your interface and going to town, but if you have guitar pedals but no amp, I question your choices as a guitarist, my friend. Now I'm going to show you a quick demo of some tones in Reaper with Neural Amp Modeler, some VSTs. Yeah, it's going to be sick. Check it out. Alright, so we're in Reaper, and I'm going to insert a track, and then find G-Tune. This is an entirely free tuner. Reaper might come with a tuner, but I always just install this one because I like it. I've activated the track down there by clicking that, and a note, you can play doom metal in whatever tuning you want, but I like to use C standard. Just gonna check the tuning of the guitar here. Alright, now I'm gonna insert Neural Amp Modeler, which is completely free. And here I'm just gonna find an impulse response, or not an impulse response, sorry, an amp sim. And I have a bunch here. Diesel amps, orange, a bunch of orange, some Fender, but right now I'm just gonna go with this classic Mad Amp, low gain, and I'm gonna select an impulse response, and I like these, this, which is emulating a Celestian hemp pack. going to add a VST or two. This is my favorites list, by the way. And I'm going to choose the previously mentioned Fuzzploid. And obviously you can adjust it as you want, but what you'll hear is just the default. I'm not going to show you anything else to save time, and so you can play around with it and discover things yourself. Alright, and here I'm going to show you some nice reverby tones. I'm going to switch off the mad amp because that's a little bit too crazy, a little bit too broken up. I have this super reverb. I don't play clean tones too often. I'm still going to keep it with the hemp back. And I'm going to add a nice reverb, just for fun. I'll link this one below, I suppose. This is just to give an example of another VST that's not a distortion. And lastly, just for fun, I'm going to give you an example of a paid amp sim. The Death Western by Purified Audio. It's about $40. I got it on sale. It has a built-in IR which you can disable and replace if you wish. Yeah, it's just pretty good. I haven't tweaked the controls. Who knows, I might make a video about this all on its own, because I quite like it, especially once you customize it. Here we go. Say you just don't want to use that damn devil machine computer. I can't say I blame you. In that case, you'll want the tried and true combo amp, baby! A combo amp, in case you didn't know, is just the speaker and the amplifier smushed together in the same box for your convenience. Now there are some big boy combo amps out there for playing on stage. But right now, we're just going to be sticking with the bedroom backline. A little 1x8, little 1x12 will do you just fine here for your bedroom. For a sort of buying advice section, I'm going to be sticking to just new amps, but I implore you, go on Facebook Marketplace, Reverb, whatever. You'll find a used one cheaper. You should do that. I'm just talking new here for the sake of simplicity. Yeah, check the internet, Facebook Marketplace, and especially your local guitar shop. Go outside and touch grass, you neat. As far as amps go, basically anything you get will work as long as you fucking slam a fuzz into it. I like these, the Orange Crush combos. They're cool. Let's check out some other ones. But yeah, you know, anything will work if you throw a fuzz into it. I quite like my orange combo. That's the one I got. It's the Orange Crush 20. Those nowadays run about $180 new. And if you want a reverb and tuner built in, that'll cost you $230. Personally, I'd abscond with a reverb and tuner. All the modeling combos just sound pretty dull and lifeless to me personally. I would suggest that you avoid things like the Marshall Code, Line 6 Spider, etc. Anything with an LCD screen. Another good option would be the Fender Champion 2 series, with great cleans and very usable distortion. The 50 watt version will run you about $250, but the 20 watt version is only about $110. At this budget, I don't necessarily recommend getting pedals, but if you insist, get the Behringer HM300 and or SF300. Either runs about $35 brand new, and they're worth every goddamn penny. Overall, the cost of this rig, not including a guitar, costs just under $500 new. If you go used, you could easily get a combo amp, a couple pedals, and a guitar for under $750, maybe even lower.
Alright, now it's time to give you a little demo of this bad boy. A little demo of this bad boy, and then after that I'll give you a little demo of this bad boy with some pedals. Look at this bad boy. Oh.
Alright, now let's talk about a budget live rig. There's still a lot of freedom of choice here, but it can get pretty expensive. By the time you're ready to buy this gear, I'm assuming you already have a nice guitar, a couple pedals, all that, so really this is mainly going to be concerned with amps. My current rig is a PV PA400. It's actually a PA amplifier, but it works wonderful as a guitar amp. It's clean, so it's a perfect pedal platform, and personally, a lot of my distortion comes from pedals. On my pedals, some of my favorites are the Caitlin Bred Sabracadabra, the previously mentioned Behringer SF300, and a pedal from a lesser known brand called the Evil Eye Mark I by a little company called Minotaur Sonic Terrors, I believe is what they're called. They're all fantastic, and there are millions, well probably not millions, but thousands, tens of thousands of really good, wonderful distortion pedals for you to use. And I mean, you know, even more countless non-distortion pedals for you to use. Now, like I said, I like my amps clean and good with pedals, but your mileage may vary. You might not want to mess with anything, and you just might want a good sound out of the box. That's fine. That's not really what I'm after. If you want that, any of the orange solid state heads will do you just fine. Really, any solid state or tube head, not heb, sorry. Any solid state amp or tube head will do you perfectly fine. I had one of the old Orange Crush Pro 120s, the solid state heads. I love that thing. It had great onboard distortion. I still use pedals, but in a pinch, you could do far, 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 far worse than basically any solid state head's built-in distortion nowadays. As for my cabinets, I use Marshall 4x12s. That's right, two of them. You can see one back there. The other is in a storage unit because I don't even need that for the bedroom, let alone two. But yeah, really it doesn't matter. I like 4x12s. You can get away with 2x12s, especially if they're mic'd up at a venue. Yeah, I'm just a little bit extra like that. You know, I'm a little bit vain, I suppose. I like big stinky amps. You know, I like amps that look like Star Wars droids. This PV I've got runs about $250. A little more, a little less, depends on where you find it. I got mine broken, and, well, my friend got mine broken. He fixed it up, and he sold it to me. Those cabinets run anywhere from about 150 to 200, 250, usually on the lower end. One I got for 180, the other I got for 120. They're old Marshall valve state cabinets, by the way, called like MG 412 or something like that. Their speakers aren't the best, but they're very serviceable. I've heard worse speakers out of more expensive cabinets, and I've heard better speakers out of more expensive cabinets. I'm going to replace them at some point, but right now, they're perfectly fine. And something I'd really like you to keep in mind is, out of everything in the tone chain, right? From your fingers to the pick, all the way to the amp and the cabinets. The only thing that really truly matters is the speaker. And bear this in mind, please. In today's day and age, this sort of deal is pretty excessive, as I was mentioning. Shut up, Discord. Pretty excessive. I've seen gigs played with literally 1x8 combo amps. Like I said, I'm just kind of vain. I'm a little bit extra like that. Honestly, the bedroom budget, you could play live with that. That being said, let's check out my big, stinky rig. Alright, here's a close look at the live rig before the demo. It's, first off, excuse the mess, I'm mentally ill. Second off, here we go. I'm a pretty simplistic dude. I got my cheap Chinese tuner. I got my Morley Bad Horsey 2, wah pedal. Not really a fan of Steve Vai. Best, and by best I mean only good, wah pedal ever made. Previously mentioned Minotaur Sonic Terrors, Evil Eye, Mark 1. Love this thing to death. Please send me 5 of these, Minotaur, please, please. Caitlin Bread's Abracadabra, this thing's been through some action. An old Joyo chorus pedal. And some random fuck-ass no-name delay pedal. And of course, the Big Stinky itself. Alright, so now it's time for a look at my big, proper, stinky live rig. I've got a couple pedals on there. Not really going to be going over them too much, just because I have a constantly changing suite of pedals. Yeah, check this shit out. Alright, first off, just to appease the boomers, the chuds, the, for some reason, wannabe Joe Bonamasas, here's some clean tones. Alright, now that that's out of the way.
So yeah, that's about it. My name's Groovy Grass. Thank you so much for watching. This video took quite a while to put together. Combination of research and, well, laziness, obviously. But yeah, thanks for watching. I plan to do a lot more videos like this in the future. Hopefully I'll be able to put them out a little bit quicker, because they won't be so all-encompassing. Not to say this is all-encompassing, it's not. It's the tip of the iceberg, really. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. My name's Groovy Grass once again. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and maybe even hit the bell. Although I don't have notifications turned on myself, so, you know, I can't really expect you to. Keep watching for more doom, desert, stoner, whatever you want to call it, metal. And maybe, just maybe, I'll branch out into other genres too. Maybe. No promises. Peace out. Stay groovy.